Hello and welcome, my friends. It's Jennifer from Mystic Star. I'm so excited for today. Today we're looking at the full pink moon. I know that I'm early on this. As everyone knows, the full pink moon, that energy can be utilized 2 days before and 2 days after the full moon. And the full moon doesn't happen until April 27th. Well, I figure doing one live per day is going to really, not only tax you, but me as well. So I pushed the full moon to today. And on Sunday, I'm going to be doing my live group reading for the week. I didn't want to do both on the same day. It's just a little bit too much. And I wanted you guys to have that separate reading. So today we are going to be looking at that full pink moon. And it's not just a normal moon. We do have that super moon. Does it make it stronger? Sort of. From the astrological perspective or spiritual perspective, not really. It's more how we perceive that full moon. A full moon's energy, no matter how we optically perceive it, is still there. It's still powerful, beautiful, and amazing. However, because we do have that big supermoon perspective, we as humans take it that the power is intensified. It's all perspective, but perspective does matter. Because we do feel that it's going to be better and bigger, well, guess what? We're right. So we're going to use this supermoon to our advantage. We're going to see how we can utilize this energy and this time to help us move forward, to help us grow, and really help us heal. Now, when I was thinking of decks, because let's be honest, some girls collect shoes, I collect decks, right? There was really only one I could think of. It's pretty, it's pink, and it's floral. The reason that the pink moon is called the pink or the full pink moon is because pretty much every nation starts to have a pink flower, moss, bush come into season right about now. Whether it be the lilacs or the cherry blossoms, we have this pink hue start to settle in over, well, most geographical areas. So historically, that's why it's called the pink full moon or the full pink moon. Now, the moon is also a time of growth because, of course, we are looking at the spring and things are starting to come up. The flowers, the trees and bushes are starting to, well, flower and be beautiful. Another important element to the full moon, for the full pink moon. Now, this is the Crystal Unicorn Tarot. It is made by Pamela Chan. It's all pastel-y and primarily pink. That's why it was kind of like a no-brainer on which deck I was going to use. And this full moon reading, I paired it with the Chakra Wisdom Oracle. Now, I did that specifically. Actually, I used the same pairing earlier in the month. And it's not like the pictures themselves, like the artwork really is the same, but the energies work really well. Not only do we have that healing, amazing power of the unicorn, we're combining it with the chakra, healing, energetical center of self. Both work hand in hand, especially, like I said, with that growth and that healing. I had thought possibly of trying to connect in with a couple other oracle decks, but this one kept shouting out to me. So it is important that healing is an important factor of what we're dealing with. So without further ado, I'm going to start the first reading. Now, like always, the first reading is for my friends who couldn't join me on the live chat. I'll be doing a second reading, probably about a half an hour for my friends who are going to be joining me throughout the next little bit here. So without further ado, let's see what the full pink moon wants to share with my friends. What card symbolizes the message that the full pink moon wants to share with my friends? Now, I love this deck because if you look at the back, not only do you have the flowers, but she has the moon as well. I never really thought about it. I don't use this deck a lot because of how pastel-y it is. It can be kind of hard for people to connect in with. However, I think in the full pink moon, it's an important aspect. So here you have the 8 of Pentacles, that hard-working, attention to detail card. That is what the full pink moon is focusing in on for you guys. That attention to detail, that attention to that hard work. Like I said earlier, we are going to be focusing in on the work, that healing, how to support ourselves. The full pink moon is reminding us we need that attention to detail, that attention to our present aspect, no matter how challenging things are. We like to kind of push ourselves into different directions to avoid that important topic, getting that work done that we need to get done. It's easier to avoid than to sometimes sit down and do that hard work. It goes back to when we were in high school and you had all that homework. Did you want to do the homework, or did you want to veg in front of the TV or chat on your phone, the phone with your friends? The same dilemma still reaches all teenagers. However, the ones who are successful are the ones that get that work done. Sure, and the really truly successful ones are the ones who are able to balance it, doing their homework while on the phone. Like, you can multitask here, guys. I'm not telling you to solely focus in on this, because that's another avoidance tactic. Overwhelming yourself and making yourself feel like you're unable to achieve what you need and want. What the full pink moon is encouraging you to do, take that time, pay attention to what's right at hand so that you're able to enjoy not only the work you're accomplishing, but the here and now. Balance is going to be really important. Now, in tarot, 8s are all about that manifestation. We are able to create more and bring what we want and need into our lives. Should we focus in on the present, on our abilities, and all that we can do? And the majority of us are minimizing what we can do because we don't fully understand it. We haven't sat down with self and explored it. Another aspect that the full pink moon is really encouraging you to, reach out and explore a bit in a balanced way. You got to remember that. The full pink moon is not encouraging you to hyper focus in on or spend all your time working hard on aspects that can be a little bit fear-provoking because we don't understand them. See what other further insight, wisdom, and guidance we can share with my friends for the full pink moon. Whoa! Oh! I hate it when they drop them on the floor. It makes reading so much more challenging. Except, at least now when I'm doing this, I'm a lot closer to the floor than when I'm standing and trying to get everything done. All right. So I'm going to flip them over and read them that way because that way I'm getting them as they jumped out. The 8 of Wands. Again, that movement and manifestation. Now, not surprisingly, when you see that double 8 in angel messages, the angels are telling you something amazing is coming your way. Really reinforcing that manifestation, that movement, and that growth. The full moon is reminding you that that direction, that insight, it's there. The high vibrational beings and your high vibrational support team, they're there for you. We don't always connect in with them as we should. However, they are there and they want to support you. Really important that we take that time, slow down, and see these messages that are hidden in plain sight. They are there. Trust me, just like the double eights, it's taking that time and being present and mindful to the information that's right in front of us. The Nine of Pentacles, reminding us, focus in on what's working. Start building off of that. No matter what's happening in our lives, there are aspects and pieces that are going right. They sometimes are really hard to find and really hard to focus in on. However, they are there. Taking that deep breath and being present and embracing them. And it can be just as simple as a beautiful day, something that's going right. As simple as your friends and family, that connection. Working with what's going right and building off of that can really empower you and invigorate you. We have that growth and development surrounded by that amazing passion and connection. We need both. We need to feel and understand what we're doing, and we need to have that fulfillment. Without it, we're just going through the motions, and it's not going to help us at all. The Eight of Swords, reminding us that it's really easy to get bogged down. It's going to minimize our ability to grow, to thrive, to prosper because of fear, doubt, and heartache. Now, behind the lore of this card, you're looking at, usually there's a maiden who's surrounded by swords and who's all bound up and blindfolded. And there's a kind of a keep here, explaining that she's the one who's done this to herself. Past events and situations have caused heartache and pain, and she hasn't done anything with it. She's avoided it, and they started to build up around her. Just like events and situations occur with us. Rather than dealing with the behavior, the choices, the lack of choices, the lack of behavior, whatever role we played in these events, these situations, whatever that was, instead of working on and learning the information that needed to be learned, we've left it. We've turned a blind eye to it, which is why we are blindfolded. And soon, so many events have happened that we don't feel like we're able to move forward. This card, and like so many of these swords, we struggle with the swords because it's reminding us we have a pattern to break. We have information we need to learn. And to be successful, we need to start to break that pattern, learn from it, and move forward in a high vibrational way. You can't learn if you don't explore and reflect on those situations. Sure, it can be really painful, hence why she's blindfolded and pinned up. But the first card we drew, the Eight of Pentacles, reminds us we need to have that attention to detail. If we have that attention to detail, we can learn from that past experience. No matter what role we played in that experience or event, we can learn from it. What pattern do we need to break? What do we need to shift within ourselves so that we can be more prosperous, be happier? When we start to shift and break free of the things that are holding us back, that's when we're going to be able to really experience and enjoy what it is we signed up for. I know it can be, well, easier said than done. The full pink moon wants to support you in breaking some of these patterns and starting to enjoy all that's going well in your world, no matter how small. It's an important balance. And again, we don't want to get hyper-focused in on these two cards. Balance is essential, guys. This is a full moon. That divine feminine energy is there for you. We need to use it to our advantage. Sure, we need to learn. We need to do some work. We also need to take care of ourselves because this isn't the only thing we're dealing with. Life is not as easy as just a one ball juggling act. We have demands and expectations that we need to deal with on an everyday. So doing this in small spaces and little bits will go a long way. It's truly amazing how the universe likes to support us, even in the smallest of pieces. So we start to work on this, reflect on self, allow ourselves to be open to the messages and that guidance, that inspiration, that fun. We start to tackle some of this, even a little bit. That's when the universe goes, hurrah, she's doing it, he's doing it, let's help them. Added supports, added abundances in all aspects of life, including prosperity and financial. So a little bit of work is really rewarded. Think of it as your teacher who had the gold stars. You get lots of them because the universe will flood you with positive reinforcement. Because what we're dealing with is taking on the Eight of Swords. And that's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of fear, a lot of pain. But as we're working through it, it's rewarded. So we have now 3 8s. Like I said, 8s are about movement and manifestation. The angels are telling you that there's some good coming your way. And that reinforces what I just said about when we do work on things that are for our greater good, the universe is like, yes, sir, here you go. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have that reward. Now, I'm saying do the work. I'm going to help you out with this a bit. It's not like you're going to be, quizzed or there's a final exam to this. This is more about self-understanding and self-reflection. When we're working with learning from experiences, the only way we can do that is through reflection. I don't want people to go back in and experience and re-traumatize themselves for events that happened in their past, in past lifetimes. Crap that they're holding on from their lineage, because we repeat patterns that were taught as children, who learned that from their parents, who learned that from their parents. So there's patterns that we need to break that are historical and generational. We don't need to relive it. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. What we do need to look at is what is going right. So I encourage people to grab their spiritual binder. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're also new, my spiritual binder, what I'm talking about is a binder. Just any binder. I would suggest a nice big one though, because many people talk about having a spiritual journal and having this little book, and you're like, ooh, yeah, you're not going to get as much into it. It's not as flexible as a binder. So my clients and students know when I say spiritual binder, I mean it, a good binder. Decorate it as you want. Most importantly, you can add in aspects and pieces that are important. You can print things out. You can put little envelopes in. So if you're finding feathers in the street, because I've done that, you're in the middle of a snowstorm and all of a sudden you see these little feathers and you're like, that's not right. There are no birds. Some people collect them, put them in their pouch, or tape them to a piece of paper and put the date on. So, working with your spiritual binder, have a section for reflection. And that's the most important piece, guys. I'm a little bit of an organizational freak. We all have our thing. And you can put it in and say, okay, so in this section, what I want to do is look at reflection. What's working? Focus on what's going right. And then look at what challenges you're facing. And go back to the what's going right. We know that we have that. When you go back to what's going right, you can see how you can use that to your advantage to help you overcome some of that burden, some of that challenge. I'd also encourage you to look at events that keep occurring. You keep having the same relationship problems. And don't go relive things. Just look at it factually. We need to use our head in this. This isn't about emotion. And I know as emotional beings, because we've got swords here, this is about knowledge. Now the swords, they have no knowledge. This is all cold, hard steel, guys. This is emotionless. It's us who attach the emotion and the ties and barriers, the bindings to ourselves because we have attached the emotion. Now, we don't want to be cyborgs. It's something we do. We use that, again, to our advantage. Knowing we do it, well, we need to start to shift and release that. What patterns do you keep seeing in your life? Relationship, finance, business, career, family, friends. Do you see patterns there? If it's too painful and you're like, I can't deal with this, I've got another support for you. I have a number of healing meditations that I've done with the Archangels. And in those healing meditations, there's a number of them that I've done releasing pain, heartache, and fear. One that comes up, and it was one of my very first releasing meditations, was one I did with Archangel Metatron. He's a fantastic archangel. It's kind of like a big teddy bear. I love him to bits and pieces. I don't lie, I love a lot of them. But I've worked with Archangel Metatron a lot. And it talks about what we did is we worked together to release some of that built up, gunky, heavy bindings. So you can start to look at what's actually happening. That understanding those ahas will help you move forward, help with that prosperity, because you can start to break patterns. So it's kind of a domino effect. The more you understand, the more you can move forward. When we can heal and understand even more, getting further down into that core self, the more you're going to be able to grow and prosper. And yes, we all have a core self, that authentic self that we hide from the world. Many of us hide it from ourselves because it's, well, either unknown to us. Our ego has buried it so deep because we're afraid of our natural gifts, our natural abilities. Any child basically born before, I would say, late 90s, the millennials, we were told very clearly we had to shut down. And if we did not shut down, we would be medicated. And many of us were medicated. We'd be put into padded rooms, depending on what decade you were born. We shut down due to fear. And there are also those individuals, even the millennials had this problem and continue to have this problem, that they shut down due to fear for something they've seen or heard. So we start to bury that and kind of get this fluffy puffiness that helps to bind us up. It serves a purpose, especially as a young child, that you can't deal with that burden. But as an adult, we're now like going, oh, okay, what do I do with this? Well, we need to release it. It's part, again, of that work, that attention to detail, that understanding of self. If the more we understand of self, the more we're going to see that movement. We're going to see that prosperity come forward. The Six of Wands. You guys are getting a very wand pentacle-tastic reading. And these suits, the wands, of course, they're all about that inner fire, that passion. We need this passion, this connection, this understanding to help light our way forward. That pentacle is all about that growth and development, that prosperity. Well, guess where that passion is going to light you to? That past prosperity. Now, the Six of Wands has two messages. One, the sixes in tarot always talk about balance. And I keep telling you guys, balance things out. We don't want to hyper-focus in on this. We hyper-focus in on it, you're not going to get anything done because you're going to get caught up in that fear, that avoidance. We excel at avoiding. We have YouTube, we have Twitch, we have the TV, video games, anything and everything that we can think of to avoid. We're pretty good at figuring that out. That avoidance, that's a tactic your ego uses to keep you stagnant, keep you stuck, keep you away from that growth, and thus that prosperity. So balance is key, taking it a little bit at a time. That's why all my meditations are about 30 minutes long. They're not extremely long so that you're not able to fit it in your day. And it keeps you focused. We do like to get distracted. So if we have, okay, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes and then I will do X, Y, and Z, you feel more accomplished. Now, the Six of Wands also talks about that ability to succeed. This is a victorious card. It's hard to see in this type of deck because we have a unicorn. But in the original deck that Pamela Coleman Smith drew in The Rider-Waite, you have a man riding high on this white steed, and he's all sorts of pompous. And he's like, yay, I slow the dragon, here I go. And people are cheering around him. That victory is within your grasp. Should you take that time? Not a lot of time, but balanced and intentional time. Intention, it is such an important aspect, an important part of what we're dealing with. Many of us will do things and go through motions without fulfillment, without connection. Like I said, that connection, it's important. And the last card that jumped out, the Knight of Pentacles. Now, Knights are a funny breed. Knights are that adolescent no fear energy. It's like, yeah, go bigger, go home. Got this, nothing can touch me energy. We're going to need that adolescent no fear energy to start to tackle and unravel this 8 a bit. Even unraveling a little bit is going to go a long way for us. But what's more is that this Knight, we drew the Knight of Pentacles. Actually, I won't lie. The Knight of Pentacles hit the floor when I was shuffling it. This is the one Knight that is steadfast. So going back to Pamela Coleman Smith's deck, because that's what this deck and about 95% of the decks are actually created from, this Knight is standing steadfast. Whereas the other 3 Knights, so we've got the Wands, the Swords, and the Cups, they're in different stages of motion. He's not. I know he's kind of cantering or moving a little bit here, but this Knight talks about working hard on the home front, working hard on self. The full moon is encouraging you to take that 5 days to settle in and just do some nice work for you. Focus in on you, balancing out your day so that you are able to add in some of this healing, this releasing, and understanding for you. Like I said, it's not a 24-hour, 5-day piece. A little bit here and there will go a long way in not only your understanding, but being able to connect in and shift things for your greater good. Because everybody's greater good is different. Our journeys are different. What we signed up to learn and experience may overlap and intertwine, but they're different journeys. They're different lives. We need to enjoy our experience, what we signed up for. It's really unfortunate that we don't know what that is. It would be so much easier if it's like a little roadmap going here, here, and here is what you need to do. Ta-da! Part of what we signed up to learn is that, I guess, tolerance for self, and almost that kind of super sleuth energy where you're going to have to explore. You're going to have to experience firsthand what it is you wanted to learn. We can't always read what we want to learn. We have to experience some of it too. So I am going to go on to the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck now for some blessings. It's going to add on to what the tarot has already outlined and add just a little bit of extra support for you guys. What blessings can my friends embrace? Well, for the full pink moon. It's very distracting while I'm trying to shuffle and people are messaging me, "Are you alive?" Yes, I'm live. So if you're doing that, please don't do that. I will not message you. I will not email you back right away. I'm live. And I'm not going to point out who it is because you guys know, because you've emailed me. I love this card. Joy. Remember, it doesn't matter how hard things feel. We need to embrace this joy, this abundance, and this happiness. This card has the same energy as the Sun card in tarot. And for those who are not too acquainted with all the meanings of the cards, it doesn't matter which way the Sun card comes out. It always talks about that happiness, that joy, that love, that success. That's exactly what this card talks about. This card is connected into your solar plexus chakra, which is the chakra that talks about invigoration, inspiration, and willpower. The more we trust in our abilities, the more we're going to be able to tap into that joy, tap into that happiness. Recovery. Fantastic card. So recovery talks about that understanding, recovering those secrets. Like I said earlier, we need to get out of this fluffy puffiness, what is binding us and holding us back. We're going to have a better understanding and recover that connection, that knowledge of our true authentic self. Depending on where you are in your journey and what's happened, that could be a lot of padding, and it might take some time. It goes back to that patience, goes back to that perseverance. This card, this recovery and understanding, is connected to your third eye chakra. That's why it's got the purple. So these cards are really simple. They're connected to the colors of your chakras. And it's just the basic 7 that these cards are connected to. So recovery is connected to the third eye. That understanding, that knowledge that we can gain from our third eye, from our clairs, from our higher self and our intuition. And that's a lot of information. And like I said earlier, it's what we're holding on to, and that's holding us back because of trauma and fear. I love how different decks reinforce each other. Quest. Hello and welcome to what it is we're supposed to be working on. Perspective, that journey, it's important. Whether we see a little bit or a lot, that abundance is there. We just need to look at it full-heartedly rather than in a limiting and almost societal masking, if you will. We like to talk ourselves down and out of things. that perspective, it's important. This one is connected to our throat chakra, which works with, again, that understanding, the communication, gaining the knowledge for the knowledge that is there and understanding it fully, rather than putting that twist that we do where we're jumping to conclusions. We need our throat chakra open so that we can gain that insight, gain that information. Prayer. I know this card triggers a number of my friends and a lot of my clients. The spiritual abuse that has gone on is not okay, but it also has clouded people's ability to work with many high vibrational beings, including the angels and archangels. And that does sadden many of them. More and more people are working with them, which they're thrilled with. But when we hear prayer, many people cringe and we kind of recoil because we think we have to go to a church and we have to recount our sins and all that's gone on. No. This is about asking for the help you need. Now, you don't pray to the high vibrational beings. They don't like that. It kind of freaks them out. It's like going up to a stranger and asking for support. They're like, no, I don't know you. Please step away. The high vibrational beings are there for us. We can ask them for the help for sure, but it's not prayer. It's not an intentional prayer. When we pray, we take that time and we ask for the help we need. I'm really struggling with this. I really need some help. Can you please help me? Many people add in, dear God, or, oh my God, can you please help me? Whether it's God, Goddess, the creator, the universe, whatever you want to label it as, it's that higher entity. Praying to that higher deities helps to kind of enact or enable the frontline workers of the high vibrational beings, whether it be the unicorns, the dragons, the angels, the fairies, the whoever you work with. It enables them. It gets their armies going, if you will. Prayer does not need to be done in one single place. It does not need to be done to say, I'm really sorry I failed. No, that's not what the universe wants. The universe wants you moving forward, focusing in on what's going right, connecting in and asking for that guidance and support. I should also mention, because I am being warned, when you pray and say, I really need help with this, the universe will only do as much as you've asked. I know that sounds crazy, but you signed up for this journey, and there's certain pieces that you wanted to learn and experience. So you may be asking them to help you out of a situation that you wanted to learn from, to experience from. So we need to do the hard work. They will put in the supports that you need, that they can support you with. They're not going to do the job for you. We have to do that work, that attention to detail. All right. So like always, the first reading is for my friends who couldn't interact and ask questions. And I get it. We do have lots of expectations and demands. This next reading, as I'm seeing that the numbers are starting to increase, I'm going to be doing my reading for my friends who are here. So if you have questions, I will do my best to try and juggle the cards with what's being said on chat. If I don't get to you right away, like always, I will. I promise. Okay. I just sometimes have to get out what I have to say before I forget, because like many readers, this isn't information that I retain. I tell you, and then I go. Can I tell you what happened last week's reading? Possibly. It may trigger, but it's more that my higher vibrational self is like, this is a reconfirmation of information that you said in a past reading. Many readers don't. If they take notes, it's more for the client than themselves, because any good reader can go back and say, oh, no, we've talked about this before. There's a number of groups that I've done readings with and a number of clients. I don't remember what the reading was about, but I can tell you I've got some people that are at like the major arcana stage, and they always get like all major arcanas. So that I remember. I won't remember exactly what's said. So I will say what I need to say, and then I'll get to your question. So hello to everybody that is here with me and who is going to show up, because I'm still getting flashes. Are you alive? Yes, I am. All right. What card symbolizes the message that the full pink moon, there it is, wants to share with my friends who are with me now? And for those who joined later, I am using the Crystal Unicorn Tarot because we are dealing with the full pink moon. And not only does it add the connection of the growth with the cherry blossoms, it also has the moon, which I didn't know when I got the deck many years ago. The Ten of Cups. I love this card. I love the rainbows. I love the fact that the children are dancing and not like trying to kill each other. They're in the original card, Pamela Coleman Smith has them swinging and smiling, and the parents are like, oh. How many of us would love that family? So this is the family card. The full moon is reminding us to enjoy our family for what our family looks like. And it does not necessarily mean that family that is connected through blood or through marriage. This is family that you create. Friends, lovers, what have you. The people that are important to you that build up that structure, that build you up. Many of us have family that don't understand us. They don't support us very well, or there's strings attached. Family is important, and it needs to be that balanced and loving relationship. Oh, I'm glad that you like it, Karen. Yes, the unicorns, and I've actually noticed this with a couple of my clients. There's more unicorns around North America right now. I've connected in with some of my colleagues in the UK. They're not seeing it as much. I'm not sure why they're here, but I'm so glad they are. So that family, we need to be focused in on it a bit. Allow them to nurture, to love us, and don't be afraid to reach out and connect in. These are the individuals, like I said, that you have a positive relationship with, that balanced relationship. They may not understand what you're doing or what you're going through, but they love you and support you no matter what. And I think that that's an important piece too. Many of us are feeling that disconnect. With everything that's gone on in the last year, we've had to change and alter things. Many connections and family time has really been altered, changed. We're struggling with that. We're social beings. We're never meant to just be like secluded and tucked away. We need that connection. We need to make sure that we're connecting now, as in May, we are looking at a Mercury retrograde coming in. That connection, that communication is going to be strained. Build it up now. Enjoy it now, because Mercury retrograde does like to really throw some wrenches into things. All right. What further insight, wisdom, and guidance does the full pink moon have for my friends who are with me now? The one thing I love about this deck, not only is it nice to work with, it doesn't have like a weird gloss where so many decks have that weird gloss. So when you're doing live things or working with the camera, it gets really hard. You have this weird shine, but it's a nice size. And The cards are kind of gentle but blunt. The Three of Cups. No matter what's going on, what challenges we're facing, we need to celebrate. Enjoy this time. Unlike the last reading, where the reading that I first completed for the full pink moon talked a lot about that release and healing, this is about that connection, that support that we need. We can't forget to celebrate all those little successes, all those little aspects that are all around us, all that we've achieved. We usually like to celebrate the big things, those big monumental things, and we forget about those little things that we do, the little things that those around us do, whether it be that family connection, our friends, and our community. Supporting and highlighting the positive, because again, in the news, we're highlighting some really challenging aspects. Not to say we want to minimize them, but we're not highlighting those little things that happen every day, those miracles, those joys. We don't have a balanced perspective of what's occurring all around us. If you went from the news perspective, no one would leave their house. No one would be walking and enjoying their communities anymore. The Knight of Swords. Now, in the last reading, I had the Knight of Pentacles. And I said Pamela Coleman Smith has these knights going in varying stages of motion. The Knight of Swords, well, he is the knight that is charging headlong into the storm. It doesn't matter what is going on. He's using his knowledge, his wisdom to his advantage. He's got his sword drawn and he's going forward. It doesn't matter what's going on. He's going to get that job done. We do need that perseverance, that determination, that adolescent go big or go home energy. Without it, we're not going to get very far. We're going to get some resistance from people going, oh, I don't have time. I don't care that, you know what, you were able to make that spaghetti bolognese the way you wanted. You will have that resistance. We can't give up. We can't give up on highlighting our successes, our achievements, the successes of our family and our friends. Enjoying that rainbow, no matter what storm has brought it. The Nine of Cups. We're looking at a prosperity card. There is a lot of success that we have been able to acquire, a lot of achievements that we have accomplished. Not only do we minimize them because I don't want to blow my horn, that's going to be, embarrassing. Why would they want to know about it? No. We just sit on it. We don't do anything with it. Not thinking that, if you start sharing that positive, high vibrational energy, you're starting to shift the energies around you. And if you're living with some of these family members, you start to shift their energies and their perspective. It's amazing how when you're with somebody who is happy, they are focused in on what's going right. Look at all these abundances. Look at the celebrations. They start to move forward faster. Not only that, they start to pick up passengers along the way because they inspire others. Part of our job is to not only go through our journey and experience and learn, but we have contracted as well with others in our lives, whether it be family, those individuals who are important in our life, community and friends. You bet. We have contracted with them that we are going to do certain aspects, be certain role models in their lives. Our lives were meant to intertwine and to kind of snake through and crisscross. That amazing inspiration is, well, so helpful because we start to pick up the pieces in the ball, get their ball rolling as we're gaining momentum as well. And that's why we have the Knight. He's charging forward. It doesn't matter what's going on. He's going to be focused at the task at hand, focused in on those aspects that are going right. He's using his head. He's not getting caught up in the fear and in the heartache. Now we do have right now 3 cups. In tarot, cups are always about that intuition and that emotion. We haven't drawn an intuitive card, but it does lend to that connection that we have with our high vibrational support team and our astral family. Remember, family is what we make of it. We have family members who've passed on. We have astral family members who are there supporting us. We have that ability to connect in and celebrate and, well, thank them for all their support. That connection, it's kind of an added cherry on top, if you will. And it doesn't matter what your intuitive connection actually is. It doesn't matter if you can say that, oh yeah, I have regular conversations or regular communications. They have no problem hearing us. It's the other way around. We suck at hearing them. We miss messages. We misinterpret messages. We avoid messages because the message is telling us something that we deep down know, but are resisting. And that's the big one. That's a big one. You can reach out, whether you know their names, whether you know their role, and thank them. That gratitude, that love, that's high vibration. You're putting it out there, baby. And guess what you're going to get back? Oh yeah, we're using the law of karma to our advantage. You keep that high vibrational energy going and thriving in your everyday. Guess what you're going to get back? Yeah, I know it's easier said than done. I won't lie. There are times where I'm like, I don't feel good. I just want to be grumpy. We all do. It's a human part. We have that right of free choice. But when we're grumpy and nothing's going right, well, nothing goes right the entire day until you shift that perspective. I know. I've done it myself. The Fool. I love this card. I actually love this rendition because he's got his pack and he's got his cat and he's just like, here I go. The Fool talks about having that enthusiasm, that carefree energy. We want to have that kind of trust in self, trust in ability, trust in the universe. There is a plan. We don't know it. And that's okay. We don't need to know it. We signed up for this. Trust in ourselves. Trust that we signed up for experiences that not only can we overcome, but we're starting to make leeway on that healing that we need to do. We all need to do it. We're carrying so much from past generations, from past lifetimes, from our current situation. It's a lot. Trust that we've packed everything that we need. We have the skills, we have the abilities. We will acquire the tools that we need. We will also acquire the supports we need when we need them the most. Trusting in the universe, trusting in that path really does start to lessen the obstacles, those tripping points that we have. Like I said earlier, perspective is key. So perspective is key, and our ego is a pain in the ass. The Devil, the 15th card in the Major Arcana. You're looking at that ego, that heaviness, holding you back. Now, you can't see it in this card because the unicorn's nooses, those chains, are tight around their neck. In the original deck that Pamela Coleman Smith drew, they could easily pull off their their nooses, those chains. We have that ability to take control of our ego. It's just many of us are afraid of the winged, horned twice, 3 times. He's the unicorn horned devil. We're afraid of that. There's been a lot of times that our ego has been right. We've been in danger. Our ego's not always right. At one point in time, it did serve to protect us, especially in our adolescence. And let's be honest, that was the time that none of us really listened to our ego. Danger? Nah. Seatbelts? Don't need them. Hang out the window? Sure. Our ego likes to keep us stagnant and stuck, fearful, doubtful, and ashamed. Ashamed of what we've done, what we could do, those shoulda, couldas, and wouldas, they come flaring back. Part of this connection, this momentum that we're dealing with, we're looking at shifting that perspective within, shifting to that light, that sun, rather than the darkness. Now, in this deck, the devil's peach. In the original deck, it's black. It's supposed to be a black room where the only light is his torch and then one of the tails that the people have. That's the only light, that inner flame. We need to use that courage, that determination that we have, and our knowledge, no matter how limited or advanced it is. It goes back to trusting what we know and what we can do. Now, if you're feeling really lost and you're like, okay, great, how the hell do I go forward now? I've got a couple supports here. One is a meditation I did with Archangel Uriel. It was where we connected in to that inner light, that passion, helping to step you into your own power, help you to step into that light. Now, if you're new and aren't too sure about this meditation, I do have 2 playlists. One is Healing with the Archangels, and that's what we do. We heal. I work with an archangel, and we work on a different aspect of healing that you can tackle. The second is a Just You and Me playlist, where it's just you and me. We're working on a skill or a tool that will help you in the here and now. So, of course, the Archangel Uriel one, you're going to find in the Archangel playlist. All my meditations are guided and are about 30 minutes long. So you can keep that balance in your day. We don't want to hyper focus in on anything because that's your ego's tactic of slowing you down. You need that balance. We all need that balance. And many of us are missing that balance because, our ego is driving us rather than us taking the helm. Another meditation that is coming up is a meditation that I did earlier this month where we're balancing out the energies within ourselves. I'm finding that a lot of my clients and a lot of my students are really off kilter right now. That balance, that energy will help to give you that stability and that, get up and go energy you need. So earlier this month, I did a meditation in my Just You and Me playlist where we're balancing out that high vibrational divine masculine and divine feminine energies within us. Many of us rely a lot on that divine feminine. And it doesn't matter if you're masculine or if you're a male or a female, it doesn't matter your gender. We all have both energies. It's just we're relying heavily on that feminine energy because we're hurting right now. We're hurting emotionally, spiritually, and many of us physically. So that divine balance, it's essential. Rather than hyper-focusing in on one, it'll balance you out, helping to give you that courage, that stability of the divine masculine, while still having that nurturing, that creative energy of the divine feminine. Both meditations would really support you in being able to connect into some of these aspects that are going right. Additionally, anytime you do a meditation, you're opening yourself up for further insight. You're calming your mind. You're taking control of your breath. Your ego's not in control. You're open to whatever supports come to you. All right. So that is what the tarot card said. Let's go into some blessings. Now, I did bring back my Chakra Wisdom Oracle. And I don't know if a number of you got my little blurb. I was pulling out my cards because, like many people, my addiction is cards. I don't have a lot of shoes. I got cards. So I go by my little tower of cards and like, ooh, this one and this one. I did this exact same combination at the beginning of the month. And I loved it. They were great readings. And I thought, well, I don't want to do the same one. But I kept hearing, no, they need this. They need the chakra. They need that balance. They need that healing. So here we go again. All right. Shuffling them backwards. What blessing can my friends who are with me right now embrace for the full pink moon? And it's amazing how the chakra system keeps coming up in a lot of my readings and personal work with my clients. And I think that's why I also touch on it in my last meditation with the balancing the masculine and the feminine, because our energies do need to be aligned and they need to be really flowing. If you're struggling with that chakra system and connecting in with your chakras, in December, I brought out a meditation where we balance out and align your chakra system. I think it's just called a balancing meditation that's in my Just You and Me playlist. Sorry, I'm very thirsty today. It's snowing outside. And that happens a lot in my world. I live in Canada. Passion. We can't forget about that passion, that connection. This is nothing if we're doing it through that automated kind of just response. If you're not connected in, if there is no passion to what you're doing, why are you doing it? We do things for reasons. If they're not passion-based, does that mean it's fulfilling another need? What need is that? Is it a physical thing? Many of us go to work to pay the bills, have the food, have the stability of a home. Other times, we're doing things because we're avoiding what's right at hand. Back to where you go. So if it's not passion-filled, why are we doing it? Challenge yourself a little bit. Explore that situation. Help gain that knowledge so that you can bring in that passion. If you're working at a job, like many of us do, that you're just doing because either you excel at it or it's a job to pay the bills, challenge yourself on how you can bring in more passion, more connection. Because the more disconnected we are, not only the less enjoyable that situation becomes, but the more challenges we have in that occupation, in our everyday. And, well, that adds in a whole new challenge, if you will. So this one is connected to our Sacral Chakra, which is our second chakra. It's orange. So the borders are connected to the different chakras. So that Sacral Chakra is, like I said, our second chakra, and it is very much connected into our passion center. For women, it is also connected into our reproductive and sensuality. So if those are having problems, again, we're missing that passion. Gossip. This card cracks me up because we all know somebody like this who would rather just talk and not listen. Spread lies, spread people's challenges or heartaches, rather than trying to empower people. when I'm with, and I have family who are like this, I just kind of shut it down or walk away. It doesn't serve me in any way. If I know someone's struggling, that's all I need to know. Will I go help them? Absolutely. There's a saying that I've seen a lot recently. You can be the person that can point and laugh at somebody's crown that is off kilter, or you can go straighten it and give them a hug. Which would you rather do? Which would you rather receive? Because again, we go to that energy perspective. What you put out, what you're going to get back. So that gossip, that maliciousness, that's ego-based again. We don't want that. And this one, of course, is connected to your heart chakra. You can either empower and love others, or you can cause heartache and pain. Service goes back to what I was just saying. We can be supportive and helpful, or we can avoid. We have situations that we're all dealing with, and some of them can be pretty darn hard. What service can we be to help people through and over this? What service can we ask for? Because again, guys, we have a family card and a community card. What supports do you need to get over the challenges you're facing? It shouldn't just be a give situation, because you'll burn out. It's I'm going to help you with this. And then at a later date, you can say, you know what, I really need help. So we're all at different stages of that. Don't be afraid to ask for the help you need. We were never meant to do this journey alone. And again, this can be, because in the service card, it can be asking for the help from a physical support or from that high vibrational support. The high vibrational support team is right there. Like I said before, I think it was in the last reading, you just need to ask. There is zero communication problems. They have no problem hearing us. We just suck at hearing them sometimes. Mysticism, the unknown. Anytime, and you've got two cards that we're looking at movement, the Knight and the Fool. They're both encouraging you to move forward, to evolve, to challenge yourself, to strengthen you, empowering you. Well, that can be pretty darn scary, especially when you're being impacted by your ego going, no, fear, what if? Rather than being afraid of that unknown, knowing you have all that you need and you know what you need to know to embrace her. Doesn't matter what she is or how she looks or what this is going to bring you. This is going to bring you knowledge, experience, and growth. Remember, we signed up for a lot of different aspects. And believe me, I have questioned. I've actually asked my guardian angel, what the hell was I thinking when I did this? Of course, he laughed at me. I'm sure he laughs at me a lot, actually. He's not mean. It's just that I have a tendency just to ask the question that is, well, rhetorical, and I will never know the answer. Like, the hell did I sign up for? But being okay with some uncertainty, because there is beauty and wonder in that mysticism. Of course, this card is connected to your third eye, which will help you with those cups, help you with that connection. And if, like many people, we're struggling with working with our high vibrational support team, because it took me years to connect in with them. It's not just one. And what's even harder is that our guides can and do change throughout our life. So you can have a guide change and then you're like, what? Well, what happened to the other guy? They do change, especially as we start to grow and develop, because we're meeting different marks. We have contracted with certain beings that they will support us to certain points. Sometimes it's an age point. Many of us will have different guides, especially as we're children, who are more playful. Those imaginary friends, where do you think they're coming from? Right? They're high vibrational supports, whether it's your guides, high vibrational beings like, well, many people played with the fairies because they're a very playful crew. They're very much that kind of carefree energy. People played with unicorns. They played with all sorts of things, angels, you name it. As we grow older, we have different challenges. You hit adolescence, well, that's a rocky time. Many of us, we end up with an amplified support team. And then as you go throughout your life, that will change. So connecting in with our high vibrational support team can be a bear. I have 3 meditations that I brought out last October where I started to connect you in. Easy ways that you can go forward and connect in with your unique support team. I've done this. This is crazy. I've worked with twins and they were identical twins and their support teams were so different. So different. They had different number of guardian angels. They had different number of guides and guardians. It was fantastic. So you do have a very unique support team. That is an introduction to communication. It's literally within like 3 videos of each other, and you'll see it. They are working together. I suggest starting out with the first one and going through. Like I said, your guardian angel or your group will change, especially as you evolve and you're more open. You'll find that kind of high vibrational beings can really change as you raise your vibration because you're able to connect in with them again. Does anybody have any questions? I've seen that the numbers have fluctuated up and down, but I want to open it up if you guys have any other questions while I'm here. I apologize. If I don't drink, I think I'm going to start coughing. I also live in the driest place known to mankind, I think. I love these 2 decks. I love this one. It's fantastic. I don't want to sit and wait as you guys are typing. If I end the session and you do have questions, please email me. I'm going to be sitting, cleaning this up and getting this out. I will be joining live again on Sunday to do my weekly readings. I think I did that last week. I know my first readings, I was really kind of learning last week. This week, I think I've got a good pattern where I'd like to do my weekly readings on Sunday and then do any other readings like this kind of on Friday afternoon. I think I might have a few coming up in like Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. But I will have it posted on my Facebook page for sure. And I try and hit Instagram as I can. Okay. So I will be live. It'll be 2:00. I think it's Mountain Eastern time, whatever Edmonton, Alberta is. I'll be live 2:00 to do the weekly reading. And then I think next week I'm doing my angel reading on Friday. So that'll be really fun. I love working with the angels. And I know many people, like I've said before, are traumatized due to some of the spiritual abuse that's happened. Angels are not solely connected into just Catholicism or Christianity. And many of them are very heartbroken on how things have happened and how people have disconnected from them. So, but I will be doing that on Friday. And then Sunday, I'll do another reading as well. All right. So if you do have any questions, I'm going to shut it down and you can either email me or just put it underneath the message. You're welcome. Thank you, Karen, and you too. All right. So until tomorrow, my friends.